Hey, what's going on, world? It's your girl Shy, and welcome back to the CheyTea Podcast.
Hey, you're in the song.
Oh, sorry. You'll be okay.
That was the end of the song.
Oh,
Anyways, hey
That's
friends,
How y'all doing?
tonight?
Hey.
Hey,
Welcome back to the
Going on.
CheyTea Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Cheyenne Shantae,
it's your girl Eleonora. You already know the vibes.
and this is the CheyTea Podcast. As you can see. Okay, we're outside.
light up.
Yes. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment even before we even start. Just give us a comment, give us a like, give us a share, all the above.
Click the bell so you're notified every time we upload. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok because the girls are what?
TikToking.
Talking. Period. CheyTea Podcast. Also, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. Download episodes. Share with your friends. Share it with your auntie. Share it with your uncle, sister, brother, nephew, niece, everybody. Send it on WhatsApp. Forward it. You know? Can reach. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you're funny.
Thanks. You know what I'm saying?
This girl said share it on WhatsApp. Oh
Tell me
my
I'm lying.
gosh. No, you're not. It's
Okay.
great. That's why I'm laughing at you. But
You know people can't reach on WhatsApp?
yes. All of the above. All the above. Make sure you download the episodes. Especially download the episodes. Did I say it again?
Download the episodes.
Thank you very kindly. But yeah, we're back with another episode.
We here.
You know, it is what it is. Today's gonna be a dance episode.
Bringing it back to what we know best.
Yes, we
Not a
outside.
little shimmy shake.
Not a little shimmy. I mean, it might ruffle some feathers. What we're gonna talk about today, but I mean,
I know you girls like to tussle, but settle down for a second.
what we're saying is gonna mean it's gonna come from a genuine place,
Most definitely.
and it's just observation of what we see.
Opinions, not facts.
Not everything necessarily is something that we both experienced. So just a disclaimer, we're not currently talking about anything that we are currently facing. Not of our professions, our jobs. We are not talking about our current jobs where we are today as of, what is it today?
January 5th.
Yeah, January 5th, 2023.
23.
I, Cheyenne Shantae.
I, Eleonora.
Thank you very kindly. Please on tongues. I have to put the disclaimer out there because So yeah. Okay. So it's the lack of black
We've
in
talked
these
about this before.
professional dance teams that really have my shoulders to my ears because I just don't get it. I don't understand.
It's not even just like teams. It's like groups, crews, studios.
Yeah.
It goes on both parties. I should say, like, it goes on both sides. Like, there's not enough of us stepping out and like going to these auditions and actually putting ourselves out there.
But there's enough that go into the room for these auditions that are not getting chosen because they go for a specific demographic.
Mhm.
So when you go for a certain look and I know you're continuing to go for this look, why am I going to audition?
Yeah.
Y'all got to change it up. At some point, we have to change it up. And again, I'm not talking about anyone in particular. I'm just the look of everything.
Overview.
The whole point of the point of view that I see is not enough black.
But also just coming from like speaking to like a professional kind of point of view in a sense is that sometimes there is enough of us, hypothetically speaking. Like there's a lot of us, but some of us aren't strong enough. So that also comes into play as well. Like we can't always think, oh, they're not picking us all the time. Maybe the ones who are showing up at these auditions need to be stronger, or they're they're not strong enough for that particular group of dancers who they're going to be dancing with. You know what I mean? Because like I've seen it, and it's very
It's
sticky.
you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't in this dance industry. And that's something that's so hard to accept, especially being a black woman. It's frustrating when I don't see enough of us on a TV screens, in the movies,
In the
on
music
the dance
videos.
teams, like at the school dance. Like I'm talking about school dance teams. I'm talking about every dance team you can think of. When I don't see enough representation of us, I get upset because I know that there's people that who are out there that want to do it or who have done it or who have tried to do it, and this is the where we are right now.
And it's like it puts a lot of pressure on that one either person of color or black person, and it's like I have to represent for all of us. Like I have to put out for all of us. I have to make sure I stand out
I gotta
for all
speak
of
for
us.
all
I
of
got to
us.
speak for
Yeah,
all of us.
yeah.
Like not to say that like you can't do that, but like sometimes it's like, well, damn.
I
Like I
don't
don't want
want
to
to
be
be.
the spokesperson for black people or people of
Yep.
color. Like I don't want to be that. Like I don't want to have to be that person.
I don't want to be
I'm
your only
here. Yeah,
representation
I'm
of
here
black.
because I want to be here for me, not because I'm the chosen one. But I think there's also we need more like other black like mentors and people in our lives to kind of be there to root for us and like be there for us, be our poles, and like have those people be in your corner and be like, no, like you can do this. I think there's not enough of that. I'm lucky to experience to have that, but not everybody has that. And it's hard to be in a room with people who aren't necessarily rooting for you and you want somebody
That's
to be there
facts.
for you. Not to say that you always have to have somebody there to be like, oh my God, you can do this, because you should be that for yourself. But it's nice to also have somebody be like, you know what, she's dope, like her, or he's dope, or whatever the case may be. And there's not enough of that sometimes.
I think speaking of mentorship and like that part, I think if you're not a good leader, then it's going to be difficult for you to mentor or take leadership of something. And I think after a while, you got to check yourself when you're in that leadership position. Am I doing what I need to do to make sure that the people in this room feel valued, feel loved, and feel respected?
Yeah.
Is anybody in this room feeling like they're not valued, their time is not respected, and they don't feel love? If it doesn't feel like it's coming from a good place, if my constructive criticism, if my corrections don't feel like it's coming from a good place, but it kind of forms or looks at it comes out as a look of bullying
Or like you're picking on me.
or you're picking on me, then it's like I start to question myself in my leadership role. And I feel like not enough, and I'm going to play both sides, but I feel like not enough of these mentors, of these leadership, of these choreographers who take on these big roles are paying attention to that anymore
Yeah.
because they have this role now. They're in this role now. So I don't need to do nothing else but do my role. And that's choreograph the dance.
Which, granted, you are entitled to do just that, but you also have to remember what kind of environment that you're creating for the people that you're teaching. And, like, is this a welcome environment? Like, is this a comfortable environment? Like, do I want to be here? But us as dancers, we also have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't always put the blame.
I'm not, I know, and I'm going to play both sides, but I really just want to focus on the leadership. So if I'm being a leader has to come with that heavy, it comes with baggage.
Yeah.
Right? I have to in a way mentor. I have to go to these dancers and be a shoulder because they are going to be here with their time, their efforts every certain amount of days per week. They give me their all. So I have to give something back besides just choreography.
So, like, you're a teacher. How do you do that then?
I pay attention to everybody. I know all my students. I know all my habits. I know all their habits. and I'm passionate about what I do. I don't let my love for dance get lost in my leadership role. It doesn't get lost. The love for dance always comes first. The leadership comes second. It's like you got to look at it almost as like being a parent, right? Like
Yeah.
these people, like even I'm not just talking. I teach younger kids, but these young kids, these young
But
teenagers,
you're
these
responsible for them in those couple
I'm
hours.
yeah, like they spend so much time in the studio away
Yeah.
from their parents and away from school.
Yeah.
If it's not school, they're at dance.
Yeah.
They are at the studios for hours upon hours, multiple days of the week. So they have to feel that trust and that love there.
Yeah.
They have to feel safe. If they don't feel safe, if they don't feel the trust, and if they don't feel the love, and all that comes with discipline, because at the end of the day, there needs to be structure and
Yeah.
discipline, right? So if that's not there, then they're not going to want to stay there. They're not going to want to trust me.
Exactly.
They're not going to want to follow me.
Yeah.
It comes with choreographers dealing with grown adults. At the end of the day, yeah, we're adults, and yeah, you got to leave your feelings at the
Yeah,
door.
but if you don't make an environment that's a welcoming environment where I want to be here, I want to learn, and I'm hungry for this.
I'm not going to want to be there.
I'm not gonna want to be there. Like for me, like I'm happy that in my adult years that now, even currently, I'm experiencing that type of environment. I'm experiencing that every time I go to rehearsal. This is where I want to be. I'm not walking in there. Oh my gosh, like, I don't want to be here. Like I'm dreading it because, and I'm just doing it just for the love of dance. And I feel like that's also what we kind of have to separate as well. Like don't just be going to places just because you love dance,
Yep.
because sometimes it's not always good for you. Being in certain environments are not always good for you and your mental. And that also takes away from your performance. For me, I've experienced when I don't want to be somewhere and I'm feeling away, that's affected how I perform and how I dance. And it shows. And then what versus when I'm in an environment where I love, my whole attitude changes. My whole mentality changes. I feel so much better. I feel like I can do this rather than when I'm in other spaces and I don't feel like I can do this or I don't want to be there.
So just speaking of that, just being in like as a mentor side, um I find that like some mentors are like not like they're too unrealistic.
What do you
Do you
mean?
feel like sometimes their expectations of you can be too high?
Mm, yeah. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Maybe yes, depending on like the situation and like what they're asking for. Because there's can be moments where like they're asking for a lot. Like I'm just throwing something out there, like you need to learn 5 routines by Sunday, and this is Wednesday. I feel like that's doing too much or asking for too much from somebody. But then again, I feel like a good mentor wouldn't ask of you something of you if they knew you weren't capable of doing it.
I think you have to know
Like who you're
who
dealing
you're
with.
dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think also for the people that whomever you're dealing with, they also shouldn't make you feel afraid if you make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, or if something's not perfected to a certain
Or you're doing it the way they would like it to be done.
expectation. Yeah. Like I don't want to feel pressured and I don't want to feel stressed.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel pressured and stressed about something, I know what I'm capable of doing, but I also know that something will stress me out. I don't want to feel stressed out because I don't know a dance or I don't know something. Like I never want to feel that way. And there's been times where I've done dance programs and because it's like the times are different compared to when I was training with said people, that was like a norm. But I lived, breathed everything dance at that time. And I didn't have responsibilities. I didn't have jobs. I like money, like all that stuff. I didn't have the major responsibilities as I did in my early 20s versus my 30s now. It's a different mentality. It's a different mind frame.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm the love of dance is all still there, but I still got to wake up. I got to go to work. I have responsibilities. I have things that where people are relying on me to do and to complete, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I am doing all these things and then like you're telling me I got to do something like as a mentor whatever I picked up on, like yes, the expectation is there for me and what is asked of me will be done, but I don't want in the process of me doing it I feel like at any moment, if I make a mistake, it's just I get cut. I'm done. I don't get another opportunity again.
Well, that's how some, unfortunately, like mentors stay. Like if you don't fit to their standards, it's like, well, she's out or he's out or whatever the case may be. And like sometimes in unfortunate situations, that is the harsh reality. And you're gonna get and meet those people who behave like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of just up to you to figure out where you fit in and who fits with you.
And if you want to stay.
And if you want to stay, because granted, not every mentor is going to work for everybody. Like, for example, like Cheyenne's not going to work for John, like how she works for Jessica. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, the personalities won't mesh well, because some people can have a good experience with somebody and then somebody can have a poor experience with that very same person. So you can't necessarily go off of other people's experiences unless you've physically had your own.
Yeah.
So like I can ask Cheyenne, oh, like how's A, B, and C, but they could have treated her like crap but treat me great. So it just all depends on the type of dancer you are, the type of person you are, and what you strive for and what your end goal is. For me, I think.
And also, like, they, as a mentor, and we're going to get into the dance side of it too, as a dancer's perspective. But as a mentor, like, I feel like there's certain expectations I will have of you, especially if, like, these, like, training programs, like, if I'm giving you my time and my money, like, there's expectations I have. Like, there has to be something that's going to make me want to be in this room, because I know I'm going to learn something. My money is going to a greater cause. My money is going for my future. And like I remember, like, when I first started dancing, I started in a company, and it was great. Like, it was cool in the beginning, and a lot of people were telling me, like, yo, you're going to notice something at a certain point. And when you notice it, like, you'll see. Like, everybody did this company at some point.
Yeah.
And then I started to see what people were telling me. The previous company members who are no longer in it were like, yo, this person has a habit of doing things, and you're going to see it. And I was hurt by this person because I gave this person my time and my money, and this person went and told somebody that I did something. They accused me of doing something.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. And I was confused to why they accused me without having a conversation with me. Like, because I gave that person my time, my money, like my everything. Like, I was like there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I gave that person my genuine, like, heart for dance, like that heart, I shared it with that person.
Yeah.
So for them to go and do that and then not say a word to me put a bad taste in my mouth. To this day, I won't talk to that person.
Rightfully so.
Because you almost ruined my reputation as a dancer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you didn't even give me the common courtesy to have a conversation with you. And that is where I feel that some of these mentors are failing. They're not realizing that there are humans in the room. Yeah, I'm a dancer, but I'm a human being
But also,
first.
being that mentorship is not for you.
Yeah, half of y'all shouldn't be having dance companies. If I'm gonna keep it real with all of you, half of you shouldn't be having no dance companies to this day.
Like it. Yeah, like I'm trying to find the words, but you shouldn't be. Like, it takes a genuine person to start something. I want to grow from wherever they started, and it takes a certain person to be able to just reach more than the same 20 people, the same 15 people. That's not a mentor. If you're still sticking to the same group of people that you've been dealing with for X amount of years. Granted, that's not to say that your work has went unnoticed to those people that you've been teaching, but I feel like a true mentor reaches out to multiple people, not just the same people.
I feel like a true mentor showcases everyone, and not just
their favorites.
The strongest 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Because there's people who I know who have been a part of dance companies and were part of dance companies from the beginning right to the very end, and are not getting the recognition that they deserved, and they are now getting the recognition that they deserve. And they're not getting it from their mentor. They're getting it from someone else.
Exactly.
And that is that stings in a way. It's like, yeah, you molded me to where I need to be, or you helped me, but like you didn't hold my hand throughout the process.
But
I held myself up.
yeah, but
You didn't do that.
We've been through that though, where like I can say like a certain person has started like me, like molded me to who I am, but I would never thank them for all the middle parts.
No, because
what happened.
we had to do the
like,
work.
I had to do the work, and I realized that like, yeah, you gave me the base, but you didn't really give me anything in between.
Right.
And it's like I wouldn't want my recognition from somebody that helped train me now at the end. And now you want to realize, oh hey, no, where were you when I started, when I was in the middle, when I ended?
Yeah. And it's like, again, you're not obligated to like
No,
hold my hand throughout everything, but it's like be there.
There's still an
Be
obligation.
supportive.
There. Yeah, there's still an
like,
obligation.
There's still obligation, especially if I'm training under you.
And
like
especially if I'm paying you.
Yeah. There needs to be like some form of like I have to do my job with everyone, not just said.
Yeah.
It's with everyone. And that's what some people are lacking. And that's what I had to go through back in the day when I first started.
We all have to go
We
through
all
that.
had to go through that. But I knew my limits. And after like you were supposed to be my mentor is what I'm really trying to say, and you weren't. And you let me down.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of apologizing, you brush me off.
Yeah.
And you ignore me. So then that's when I'm like, all right, so you're not real, you're not real, you're not real, you're not real, you're fake, you're fake, you're fake, you're fake, you're fake. I don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
And the same thing that people were telling me, like, you're going to notice this, you're going to see this pattern. It happened. And it was kind of like I told you so.
Yeah. But what about like the mentors or the people who deserve to be held at a certain stand but are not?
They're not getting respected because I feel it's less about the mentorship and more about the popularity.
Yeah, I would say that for like now, now, I think that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah. I think more people are into clout. They're into what is the more glamorous side of Instagram.
What can get me the most attention?
What can get me the most attention? What's the most known? What's the louder? What's the more popular consumer wise? And if this is more popular to the consumer wise, that's where I want to be. Yeah. People care less about the quality of your mentorship and more so looking at the quantity of what they can gain from the mentorship. Yeah. And that is where I got to step away.
Like, I see why certain people would gravitate to that, but it's also like you should probably pay attention to the quality of things, because I feel like that would make you stand out more than the 20 other people reaching for the same thing that you are.
The same thing with the same results every year. Like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing with like the same results.
The same outcome.
Same outcome every single year.
You know what you're going to get every time you do whatever it is that is out there. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen.
You know you're going to go in an environment where you're stressed out, where you're annoyed, where you got to fight for the attention, where you can hear a pin drop in a rehearsal, every rehearsal, not just a rehearsal where like, you know, everybody's been like, you know, but every single rehearsal, like that toxic environment, you're going to get tired of and you're not going to want to be a part of it anymore.
There's going to be a breaking point eventually.
Yeah, and like, you know, and as a dancer in these rooms, like there is an expectation that comes with it from a dance point. I know we've been talking more of like the expectations of a mentor, but as a dancer, you have expectations as well.
Yeah, you have a responsibility that you have to hold.
Yeah,
like you most definitely do to uphold. Sorry, you do. You can't just like say, oh well, like this is what they have to do. Like, you have to come in there wanting to learn, wanting to pay attention, wanting to, what's what I'm looking for, be hungry for that information that mentor is giving you, for that, and like be prepared. Like, don't be going into rehearsals not knowing your choreo and like looking like you didn't have time to learn. Like, you have to be prepared every time you walk into that room. Yeah. No matter what is thrown at you, you are ready. And when you're coming lacking, that's upsetting. I'm sure as a choreographer, teacher, and you've seen, I just spent hours last week, and then you come in this week and you don't know what you're doing.
Especially when I give you all the tools.
Exactly. And I present it to you, say here, and then you come back and everything's just like out the window.
And
That
like
defeats purpose.
that defeats the purpose. And I think at the same time too is that like if you are going to do something, you got to take it seriously. And just as serious as the owner of the company that you're dancing for, or the team that you're dancing on, or the movie that you're dancing in, whatever role you're doing, there is a certain expectation that you have to uphold yourself as a dancer,
Yeah.
and you have to come in there preparing to learn. You're not entitled to anything. You're not the best dancer on the team. You are not, because if you were the best, then like you would be the team, right? There wouldn't be a
There
need
wouldn't
for
be.
other
Yeah,
people there.
exactly.
You're not the best dancer in the movie. You're not the best dancer at the gig. You're not that. You shouldn't be fighting to be the center of attention, because that comes, and it comes across off as greed and a
Yeah.
self of entitlement. And like, why does this person feel like they deserve this or they're entitled to this? What did they do? How did they get here? Why do they think this way?
Yeah.
They start to question you, not you as a dancer, but
Yeah.
you as a
You and your
person,
ego. Yeah.
you and your bruised ego, for you to walk around with that chip on your shoulder. So you as a dancer need to go into a room where you're willing and ready to learn. Forget the glitz, forget the camera, forget the glam side, forget all that side. There's a side of sweat and hard work, blood,
Yeah.
sweat, and tears.
And then that's what comes after, so that when it's time for the cameras, it's time
You're
for the
ready
performance,
for it.
you're ready, and you're always on. Like there's never a moment when you're out there, whether you're on stage, music video, doing a gig, doing a performance, where you're not on.
And don't take someone's kindness for weakness either.
Ooh, that part.
If someone is being kind to you,
Yeah.
don't take it as you can get away with
Everything. Yeah.
anything
Don't
and
do that.
everything. Don't do
Never.
that.
Don't do that.
Because and that's why I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna check you and be like, what is it you're doing?
Exactly.
And remember, like, there's other people in the room for the gig, for the shoot, for the team, for whatever you're dancing for, that is standing there and is looking at you like, yo, you need to get your ish together, because your ish is affecting my ish.
Yeah.
And when that side of you starts affecting not just the choreographer, the mentor, whomever, the owner
And
of the
the
company,
team.
the team, the director, the court, like all them things that up there, is the people that you're dancing beside. They're gonna start folding their hands and looking at you and being like,
What are you doing?
what are you doing?
Because you can be replaced.
There have been times where I've looked at other people that I've danced in the same room and I'm just like, do you need help?
Like,
do you want my help? Do you need me to tell you where to go? Because you bump into me one more time, we're gonna have a problem.
do you know spatial awareness? Do you know your buff?
You gotta be a smart dancer at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just on these mentors, it's on you as well.
Yeah, and that's
It's both sides.
sometimes I feel that's where some of us lack. Like we've put it all on them, and they're supposed to teach it. No, like you're supposed to. That hence the professional dancer part of everything. The professional is like the key word. Like you have to make sure you're coming in there upholding your end of the bargain as to why that person would want to teach you, would want to build a relationship with you, because they can see that like you really want to be here, like you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to do all of these things. You can't come in there with a chip on your shoulder thinking you're the best, and then what's the point of you being here?
Everybody has duties and responsibilities.
You don't need
for
to learn
any
from me
job, for anything that you have, especially when you're getting paid for something. You all have responsibilities, and we all need to remember that.
Like when there's a check behind it, like not to say that it doesn't mean anything if there was no check behind it, but like it means a lot when there's money behind it, because they're not just paying you to be there and look pretty.
Right. And you also don't want to profit off of someone's popularity versus the quality of their teaching. You have to make sure the quality of the teaching is there, because if the quality of the teaching isn't there, then you ain't got nothing.
It defeats the purpose of you even being there.
Yeah. So I also think the reputation of your mentor also comes a long way as well. I think people need to be very mindful of where they're going, and just like I said, like, it's not necessarily all about the popularity, it's about the quality of the training, the quality of the choreographer,
and the
quality
attitude of
the
that
teaching.
person.
Yeah. If like, there's so much people in this industry that like I feel are so great at what they do, and it goes like it's like water under the bridge. And I feel like a lot of the reasons why a lot of these choreographers don't do anything anymore is because of the lack of respect, and because they're not the most popular, they're not the most talked about, they're not out here and everything, you know what I mean? And because they are not in that prime now, which doesn't mean they're not outside of their prime. So like I don't know what to say. Because they're not the most popular or the
But
most thought of doesn't mean they don't have the credit, the respect, and the
that's what I'm
resume.
saying. So like, why for me, like, why is it that popularity outweighs like talent
Because
and resume?
it's the now, it's what we're in right now. It's the time that we're in
But
right
how long do
now.
these people stay popular? Is what I want to know.
Everybody's gonna dwindle down. Everybody's gonna
Like,
have
you
a
know what I
viral
mean?
moment. But
Yeah.
that's what is in right now. It's what can get me to be viral. How
And
can I go
and
viral?
then also, like, even when you try to like give constructive criticism to these mentors, or even suggest something, or even say something about how you feel about their behavior, sometimes they take it as an attack, an attitude, and then they don't like you for it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with some of these kind of new age mentors, I guess, for lack of a better word. And it's just like, you can't really approach some of them and say, hey, or like when you try to, it's like, no,
Yeah.
like you
It's an
can't, or you
attack.
shouldn't. It's an attack. And it's like, no, that's not it. Like, I'm trying to just voice how I'm feeling, but then they take it as something wrong, and then now you're
Here
out
we
a
are.
mentor.
Yeah.
So then it's like, so wait a minute. So were you really just here for me because I was just following everything you said, and now that I bring up something that I might not like or suggest, it's, oh no, bun this guy or bun this girl.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. I know like it's all over the place, but that's definitely a good point because I've been in a situation where someone cut me off because I couldn't do something because of work and didn't say a word to me, didn't say nothing, just and I feel like some of people in this industry have a habit of when you can no longer do for them, they don't want to do for you.
Because they'll say that there's always somebody out there that can do for them and do what you did.
And at that point you just look like an opportunist,
Yeah.
right? They'll take your time for free. They'll take your efforts for free. They'll take your loyalty for free. And as soon as you tell that person no, or as soon as you give them a perspective of where you're going a different direction that might be better or you know, not something they came up with first or whatever, they take offense to it. And then they just don't know who you are anymore. And it's like, so where was this when I was here for you, when I was doing this, when I was doing that, when you needed to workshop choreography, like when you needed me to do your fevers, your this, your that, like when I was here for everything and I showed up for everything. And then the one time I communicate that I can't do something based off of a time that I already committed to, you want to say I'm done or like don't say a word and just push you to the side? You don't deserve to be in the position that you're in as a mentor. Do what you want as a choreographer, but like you got to remember that there's people that who are looking up to you. There are
Yeah.
people that who respect you. There are people that you can hurt when you don't communicate a distaste that you had for something that someone did.
It's a lot. Like, trying to find like my thought process here. Nope, I lost it. I lost it. But basically, what you're saying makes sense. Like, it's just honestly for me, like, I've just never had like a bad experience in that sense of like a mentor wise and like a teacher. I've had like one, but I removed myself from the situation because I talked to her, Cheyenne, about it. So it wasn't something that I experienced for a long time. I spoke to her about it and I said, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I feel about this person. What should I do? Weigh out my options. What am I here for? What am I learning? And she's like, are you learning something? Well, how do you feel when you go into to this room? Do you want to go back? And if all of my answers were no, no, and no, so I had to remove myself from the situation. So, and granted, that person might be good for somebody else. They just weren't for me.
Good for you, yeah.
And that's fine. But I found who is good for me.
And you stuck
And
by them.
I stuck by them and I still stick by them.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always stick by them. Whether they might not be popular to John Brown, but they're popular in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've come to realization that the old school is more so for me. I'm not into the who's popular now and who's doing what from what.
Because the old school has more knowledge.
Substance.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too. They're more
Knowledgeable.
they're knowledgeable. They've achieved more. They have the experience. they have the resume, they have the credit, they have the quality. There's so much pros to having someone who's experienced and has been outside before me.
Yeah.
And I want to keep those people beside me. And it's good to like learn and
Granted, the new age
interact.
folks is still good.
Yeah, it's good
Like,
to
definitely
learn and
still good to
interact
learn.
and be around other people. Like, do
Yeah.
not get me wrong, but it's not always about the popularity contest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about the quality. And that's what we forget. As dancers, we're so interested in being in the most popular room, in the most talked about room, because in that moment it's going to be talked about. But you got to think about the things that we're still talking about.
Exactly. And like sometimes like for lack of a better word, like the underdog is the ones that you should be paying attention to. Like the quiet ones who might not be outside so much is the ones that you should be paying attention to sometimes. Because those are the ones that usually 9 times out of 10 will come to you and make, hey, I'm doing A, B, and C.
There's somebody that when you said that just reminded me of a dancer that I really like, and I hope that she doesn't mind if I say her name. But I'm gonna say her name, and I'm gonna ask her if I can say her name on the podcast. Ask her if I can include this. Is what I'm gonna say. You said that, and I saw a video of Shanice. Shanice from We Danced Together from back in the day.
Oh
Shanice.
yeah.
Shanice.
Yeah.
Kisses.
Yes.
I always say kiss.
Love her.
But anyways, she posted a video of her doing choreography the other
video
day.
that she just did.
Yeah.
Fire.
Alessia's from Alessia's class.
Yes.
And I was just like, yo.
That's what class is about.
Not even.
She was killing it.
Not even. It's not even about the class. And just give me 2 seconds
Okay,
because
no
I'm going to end this episode just now because, time to go to my bed.
Right.
But I know Shanice as a dancer.
Yeah.
And I know how hard that girl has worked. And I've always been rooting for her. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, yo, you're booked. I want to book you. I want to do this. Like, I've always tried and it aligned one time. And I hope it can align again. But that is what I mean when it comes to the dancer that wants it, that works hard for it, and stops being in the room for popularity and is in the room for themselves.
Yeah.
That is where they shine.
Yeah.
And she went in that room that day and she shined. Yeah. And she did that choreography and she
looked like she was the only one in that room.
Listen,
she looked like she performing like that was giving like I'm performing for me.
You know when you say I don't want to see, when I tell you like I don't want to see my choreography on
No,
me?
I have to watch that. No,
I'm
watching that. I'm posting it everywhere.
I was like, good for you.
I was so proud.
And that's what I like to see, and it feels even good because she's black,
and like the genuine smile in her face, and I was just like, wow, you're just.
She looks like she's enjoying herself.
Grooving. Yeah, like full, like I just don't. I think we always talk about obviously like the whole black and like race thing and like black and white thing, but honestly, it's important, yes, but it's just like. It's always no matter what, it's always going to be in the back of our minds for me as a black girl that I really have to stand out. I really have to make sure that I'm seen. I really have to make sure that I'm on my A1. And that goes for job, outside, anything. Everywhere. Because I want to make sure that you see me.
Yes.
That like I'm here, like you're going to remember me today, tomorrow, the day after, next week, years to come.
Yep.
And unfortunately, depending on how you grasp it and how you take it, it could be a positive thing. For me, I just use that as an advantage for me personally. I use that to just go harder and to make sure that in any room that you put me in, I stand out. And of course, you're going to have your moments, but I now want, not just for me, but for all of us to take it as something in a positive. Like, you know what? I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'm the only black girl here. Or I'm the only person of color here. No, I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to make sure you know me as me. You know me as Aaliyah. You know me as Cheyenne. You know me as Michael. Like, you know me for me, not for the color of my skin. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of something that we have to focus on in future.
We all have to come to a place where we communicate, where we reflect, we self-reflect, we reflect on ourselves and on others, and we just see if where we are is aligned. And if it's not aligned, it's okay to be vocal and say that it's not, and it's okay to change your environment in a respectful way.
Always respectful.
Always respectful, always professional, and always lead with love.
Yeah.
And that's that.
It'll take you a long way, friends.
I'm telling you, like this episode.
Yes. Facts. Disrespect won't get you nowhere in life. It won't.
Well, that was it for the CheyTea podcast. Please make sure you are following us on all social platforms, Instagram and TikTok at CheyTea Podcast.
Yes.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Click the bell button. You know the
Amen.
vibes. Love
Like
us.
the videos, comments the videos. Follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and both, okay? Not and or, both.
Both.
Download on both, okay?
Yes.
And leave us a 5-star review. You already know what it is.
Yes, this was kind of all over the place, but it was great. Great conversation.
Yeah, it was a good conversation, and we'll have many more.
Most definitely.
We'll have many more.
And
We're
the
gonna be
people that
back.
are coming. The guests are coming. Baby.
Yes.
The guests are coming.
Yes, we booked our first guest for 2023, and we're confirming the rest. And yes, this is, I'm manifesting everything for this, and I'm gonna keep going and keep pushing. We're gonna keep going and keep pushing. So.
Acting like I'm not sitting on this couch too. Just joking. Y'all stay blessed.
Okay, yeah.
I said y'all stay blessed.
Okay, all right, y'all. Peace out.
Ew, that was so ugly. Please cut that out. Oh gosh, what was that? Oh my goodness.
This girl said, "Ew."
Like, you know, you listen to yourself.